Iran has framed the Muscat talks as a quiet but significant win, with negotiations flowing entirely on Tehran's preferred terms rather than Washington dictating the agenda. Iran believes the US entered these high-stakes negotiations on Iran's own carefully chosen terms, not Washington's originally proposed framework, according to Reuters reporting. From Iran's triumphant perspective, Donald Trump has already crossed the first major threshold by engaging directly on issues Tehran controls from the outset. Trump has reportedly agreed to Supreme Leader Khamenei's core condition that uranium enrichment itself is not up for complete elimination in any potential deal. Tehran came out of initial sessions thinking the US genuinely understood Iran's firm stance and showed early diplomatic flexibility, according to Reuters sources. Iran rejected sweeping US demands to halt all enrichment activities outright, but offered limited discussion about potential levels and purity restrictions instead. Iranian diplomatic sources told Reuters that Tehran is strategically bargaining over manageable limits rather than contemplating total surrender of its nuclear rights. If true, this creates the strong impression that despite his maximum pressure posture, Trump has effectively accepted Iran's non-negotiable baseline positions up front. Iran's key takeaway from the opening round is that the US didn't forcefully put missiles on the negotiating table, meaning Washington is prioritizing nuclear talks exclusively.
Well, first of all, let me thank the Sultanate of Oman for hosting this meeting today between Iran and the US, which was, in fact, indirect talks. I'm very grateful to His Majesty the Sultan and my very good colleague Bad al-Busaidi, the distinguished Foreign Minister of Oman, for all the facilities they provided for these negotiations, which were actually indirect negotiations. With the help of His Excellency al-Busaidi, we managed to talk with each other. I think our negotiation with the US delegation was, in fact, done in a good atmosphere. We were able to exchange our viewpoints, to express our concerns and our interests for a possible deal between the two sides on our nuclear question. I think it was a good start, a good beginning, and now we have to go back to our capitals and discuss the question with our superiors and explain what happened during these negotiations, and we will decide for the next round, God willing.
Araghchi's confident statement signals Iran genuinely thinks the US entered talks without expecting major immediate concessions from Tehran's side. These developments come as Israel's Channel 12 reported the US extended demands covering missiles and proxies are explicitly not on the current agenda in Muscat. US negotiators reportedly also wanted comprehensive discussions about Iran's ballistic missile program and its extensive support for non-state allies across the region. Zero uranium enrichment permitted anywhere inside sovereign Iranian territory under any agreement. Strict, verifiable limits imposed on Tehran's rapidly expanding ballistic missile development program. Complete end to Iran's financial and military support for regional proxy militia groups and networks. Remember, earlier disputes had emerged over both the location and overall format of these critically important negotiations between the two adversaries. However, Tehran scored its first major diplomatic win by successfully shifting the location from Turkey to neutral Oman on its own insistence. Tehran deliberately changed the planned talks from Istanbul specifically to continue earlier rounds of negotiations in a venue it trusts completely. Senior officials said Iran views Oman as a familiar, discreet, and tightly controlled diplomatic setting where Tehran maintains maximum influence. Tehran has consistently insisted that any negotiations with Washington must remain strictly limited to the nuclear issue without broader distractions. Meanwhile, Iran has also planned massive joint wargames with Russia and China scheduled for the end of February to demonstrate strategic depth. As both sides aggressively showcased their military strength during talks, the US issued an urgent security advisory for American citizens in the region. In the stark advisory, America urged all its citizens currently in Iran to leave the country immediately due to imminent security risks.
We likewise had very good talks on Iran. Iran looks like it wants to make a deal very badly. We have to see what that deal is. But I think Iran looks like they want to make a deal very badly, as they should. Last time they decided maybe not to do it, but I think they probably feel differently. We'll see what the deal is. It'll be different than last time.
Mr. President, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner met with Iran's foreign minister today. You also had Brad Cooper there, the head of CENTCOM. A deal doesn't look like it's been reached yet. How long are you willing to wait?
A deal can be reached. Well, you have to get in position. We have plenty of time. If you remember Venezuela, we waited around for a while. And we're in no rush. We have, very good talks going with Iran. We have very good talks going with Russia and Ukraine. We're doing a lot of good talking, and I think we had the results today were with Iran. It was a meeting. We're going to meet again early next week. The one thing, and right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal, but they weren't willing to do that. Now they are willing to do it. So they're willing to do much more than they would have a year and a half ago, or even a year ago when don't forget, we've only been doing this for exactly 1 year. And we started with them a few months after the beginning of this term.
The IRGC Aerospace Force has dramatically inaugurated a massive new underground missile city just before these pivotal US negotiations began in earnest. IRGC stressed that the high-profile unveiling of the Khorramshahr-4 missile sends an unmistakable firm message of defiance directly to the United States. Iran's Revolutionary Guards declared its new missile explicitly signals Tehran's absolute refusal to abandon its legitimate sovereign defense capabilities, per Press TV. The Khorramshahr-4 missile boasts an impressive operational range of 2,000 kilometers with dramatically improved strike precision for deep targets. The missile achieves an impact accuracy of roughly 30 meters alongside enhanced warhead penetration capability against hardened fortifications, Press TV reports. Iran claims the missile travels at extraordinary hypersonic speeds, reaching blistering Mach 16 velocities when operating outside the Earth's atmosphere. It can also attain speeds of Mach 8 within the atmosphere itself, dramatically enhancing terminal maneuverability to evade modern missile defenses.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.